Hey everyone, welcome to Mommy's Crime Time. It's Jenny, and I wanted to give you guys an update, a timeline, and just kind of go over the Gannon Stauch case now that we have entered the fourth week that he has been missing. Like I said, 4 weeks. This little boy has been missing for a month now. This is absolutely devastating. Honestly, it's quite ridiculous that he has been missing for this long. And we all know who is the person that should be giving us information, but we do know that she is the one person who is not giving us information. I'm mainly doing this video not to accuse or insinuate or speculate. I'm basically just doing this video to talk about the last 4 weeks, what has been done, what has been searched, and what we know for a fact has happened rather than talk about possible, theories or suspects. I just want to give a factual account of what has happened in the last 4 weeks. Now, we know that Gannon did go missing on January 27th. It was a Monday. He had missed school that day. He was out for a stomach ache, and his stepmother, Letitia, said that he had left around somewhere between, she says, 3:15 and 4 p.m. to go to a friend's house. He didn't return. She assumed he had ran away. It was later determined that, he didn't run away, but due to a phone search in his phone that he had left behind where it said, "Can my parents track me or find me if my phone is off?" they labeled him as a runaway. Now, this was on the 27th. On the 28th, his real mom, or his biological mom, Landon, arrived in Colorado, and then by the 29th, there were 200 volunteers on the ground searching nearby neighborhoods and fields. So on the 30th, they did change him from a runaway to an endangered missing child. On the 31st of January, Letitia did the infamous interview on the news where she talked about the unfairness of social media, of the people, of the community, of law enforcement. Then on the 3rd of February is when that neighbor, Roderick Drayton, I believe, he released or found that he had this video footage from the day Gannon went missing, and that this footage showed Letitia and Gannon leaving around 10 a.m. and only Letitia returning around 2:19 p.m. On the 5th of February, Al, his father, Landon, his mother, and his little sister had a televised plea for his return. And then on February 6th, they had a search around the Big Johnson Reservoir. On the 12th, that is when Letitia, issued the statement to the public about the footage and disputing it, saying that the neighbor had actually been paid for it. And then on February 14th is when that search started in the Douglas County area. It was led by the El Paso Sheriff's Department, Douglas County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, and it was centered around South Perry Park Road, and they were poking through snow and mud with shovels and long poles. So now one of the newer things that we have learned today in the past couple days is that the Sheriff's Department has told the media to no longer expect daily updates unless the search or investigation warrants notification. They have suspended the search in Douglas County. It is done. They have not done anything else there at this time. They have stated that this is a investigation that is not criminal. There are no named suspects, which I don't understand how they're not finding this to be criminal at this point, because honestly, something criminal had to have happened. But hey, in the last 3 weeks, the investigators have conducted both large-scale searches and smaller, more specific searches in El Paso and southern Douglas County. And as I said, those have been suspended. We know that there were over 82 people assisting with the search in Douglas County, and that they were sifting through snow in about a 35-acre area. They did begin to search this area due to a tip, but they say they cannot disclose the nature of this tip. There have been several tips that have come in such as possible sightings, search suggestions, social media related info, suspicious activity, found property, and possible evidence, as well as video, photo, and drone evidence. Although they have suspended the ground searches, the El Paso Sheriff's Office says that this is still a very active and fluid investigation with potential for search efforts to happen at any time. So, although they're not having any searches right now, they are saying that they are ready, at any point in time to continue that. As of the 24th, which was Monday, they said despite suspending the searches, the investigation is progressing and continuing, and they had about 768 tips. So we know that they did just suspend the ground searches, not only in that Douglas County, but also in El Paso County. As of the 18th, they had only had 637 tips. So, there's been over 100 more tips come in within those days. And as of the 18th, they had over 7,000 investigative hours and over 8,400 staff hours, including the searches with the drones, horses, and canines. So they have searched extensively. They have put in a lot of time. There's been a lot of people that have worked and tried to see what they can find out and to be there for these searches and do everything that they can do. But unfortunately, there just has not been anything found that we are aware of. I mean, they could have found something and they just don't want to tell us because they don't want it to hinder the investigation. We don't know, but it's very, very troubling, for everyone who has waited so patiently and people who have been so diligent, waiting for more information, waiting for something to come out, people who have invested their own time. I mean, there's been just regular people that have gone out, spent their own money on flyers, took them to various locations and passed them out because they just want Gannon found. They want to make sure the word is out there. And a lot of people are very frustrated with law enforcement because they have not arrested the stepmother, Letitia. We do know that today in Tennessee, the mother of Evelyn Boswell is in jail for providing false information to the police. A lot of people have said, why is she arrested, but they have not arrested Letitia when she has given false information out. But I'm wondering if maybe that, they have a reason for that. And Dog the Bounty Hunter, he was actually interviewed in reference to this case. And he said that law enforcement, they must have more information, that they haven't asked for more of the help from the public. There must be something they know, or maybe they're not asking for a lot right now, or they're not saying a lot because they're waiting for someone to crack. And that would go along with, waiting to see if Letitia did come out and say more. She was the last person to allegedly see him alive. And we know she's had many conflicting reports about what she has said and things on social media she's posted that do not go along with the investigation. So at this time, they're saying it's still not criminal and there are no suspects. But we know that on the 21st, which was Friday, the crime lab was back at the residence doing some searches and such inside, and they have been at the residence several times, along with the media noting that law enforcement has been coming and going frequently to the home. Again, today on the 26th, the crime lab was again back at the home, and the sheriff's office has not said what they were doing in the house, just that it was an ongoing investigation. But we know they were there for much of today and that they did bring out something large wrapped in brown paper. So whatever was in there, they could not see, but the crime lab, of course, was there, the Metro van, but they also had a solid white van there. They both backed into the driveway, and you'll see the photo in the slideshow, but it was also noted that they had backed up so close to the garage that they could barely open the doors of the back of the van. Media has said they felt like this was happening to keep people or keep the media from seeing what they were doing, seeing what they were bringing out. But other than just this large item wrapped in brown paper, it was said that they were carrying out tools that looked like tripods, ladders, toolboxes, and even traffic cones. So, of course, we don't know what's going on. We're not the investigators. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. If they have suspended the ground search, obviously they have reasoning for that. We do know there's a lot of snow in the area. The weather is not great. And possibly, they can't do a whole lot more searching in that area right now. Maybe they're waiting for, the ground and the snow to thaw out before they can do more. Maybe they have information that we aren't aware of. It would be in their best interest, to withhold things from the public, because social media has definitely impeded this entire investigation. While it can be very, very beneficial, it can also be very detrimental, because there has been a lot of rumors, and there have been a lot of people that have called in with hints or tips about Gannon, and these tips or whatever have only been speculation or theories, and it's basically something that law enforcement does not have time for. Law enforcement needs tips that are real, that can be substantiated, that are something that someone actually knows, not something that someone is assuming, thinking, or thinking that they are smarter than law enforcement. Now, social media can be great. Things can come out. We've seen that with T. We've seen all of the things that she's posted. We've seen her go back on her words. So we know that, those type of things law enforcement would want to see. But at this point, there's fake social media accounts for Letitia. There have been fake GoFundMe accounts set up. So at this point, going off of social media is just not reliable. Earlier in the investigation, of course, it was beneficial because, like I said, she was posting things. Her mother was posting things that contradicted statements that had been made to law enforcement. So that they don't want any more of the speculation. They want facts or tips that could actually be helpful to the investigation. So it's been a month and we still don't know where Gannon is. I can't imagine being his mom. I can't imagine what she's going through, the heartbreak, the heartache of, not knowing where your child is. And I'm definitely not cool with this whole runaway thing. I don't think he should have ever been classified as a runaway. I feel like it definitely held up precious time. They could have been searching for him more. But of course, hindsight's 2020, and there has been a petition or people were trying to pass Gannon's law to make it where, they would not be classified certain ways and to change all of that. But ultimately, it varies case to case. It's going to depend on the situation and the circumstances around each case as to what it is classified as. So I'm not sure that there's anything that could be done or changed. I feel like law enforcement has definitely given this 110%. They have been out there every single day searching for him. They've been at the home several times. Obviously, they're bringing something out of the house. What it is, we don't know. Do we need to know? Honestly, no, we don't. We need to just trust in the investigators, trust that they know what they're doing. That's not easy because we all are invested in this case. I know I am. I know I check my phone every single day for updates. I Google his name every day and look for the latest news articles. I am a member of several groups. I've also, got the news channels where I get notifications, and I'm halfway across the United States, but we have all just invested ourselves in this case and wanting to know where he is. He's only 11 years old. I can't imagine if he did run away that he would have stayed gone for this long. You would think by now he would have came back. It it's hard to believe that he's safe at this point. As much as I hope that he is somewhere safe, it is hard to believe that because he's been gone for so long and there hasn't been anything found. He left without his phone. He had no money. Now, Letitia did say in one of the last statements that she made that he had left with his friend and that someone came and got him. She had actually described the person and the vehicle to law enforcement. Again, there's not an Amber Alert issued with a vehicle or a person described as taking Gannon, so I don't really believe that. Her first story was that he went with a friend. So, which is it? Did he just go with a friend or did someone pick him up? She's talked about blood in the garage because he cut his foot on a tool because his father, Al, does woodworking. So, is there blood in the home? I know that a family member had speculated or posted that they did find blood in the home, but of course, going back to social media, we don't know what's credible and what's not. The only thing we do know is he's still gone. It's been a month and we've gotten honestly nowhere. I I'm at a loss with this because there is a case close by me where a 6-year-old boy disappeared, and it was kind of like this where he just disappeared without a trace, and no one saw anything. No one There was searches, there was helicopters, they had the canines, they did all of that, and they found literally nothing. And this case is scaring me because it's starting to remind me of him and how he's been gone now for 20 years. 20 years, and we still have no answers in his case. So I'm very, very afraid that this case could turn into something like that. But I'm hoping that maybe we should just give investigators the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they do have information that we don't have, and maybe sooner or later, hopefully sooner than later, we'll get some kind of information and maybe some closure to this case, whether it means Gannon is brought home okay and alive or if he is recovered. So at this point, that is all that we know. If you do know anything, if you have any information, if you have any credible information, any tips that could actually lead to finding Gannon or the person who took him or the person who hurt him, please, please, please call, let them know your tip. You can call the hotline at 719-520-6666, or you could email tips at elpasoco.com. Again, that's if you have any information that would be credible and could lead to finding Gannon. Don't call in with speculations or just something random from social media or a theory. I'm just going to keep hoping that they find Gannon. I'm hoping that we do get some answers for his mother. I can't imagine the pain that she is in right now. Wrap your, just pray for her. Pray for his entire family that are going through this nightmare, and that they can get some answers and stop living in this nightmare. As soon as more information is made available, as soon as anything else is put out there, if there is any breaking information, I will definitely let you guys know, just like I've been working very hard to do with the Evelyn Boswell case. So if anything comes out, I will definitely be on here as soon as I can to notify you. As I said, just remember them in your prayers. If anyone hears anything, sees anything, let me know. You can look me up here on YouTube under Mommy's Crime Time. Please subscribe and follow. You can also find me on Facebook under Mommy's Crime Time. I have a podcast. It's also Mommy's Crime Time, and Instagram. So you can find me on all these different outlets. And you can always email me at mommyscrimetime@gmail.com with any information that you have. So I want you guys to have a great night. Be diligent. If anyone sees anything, remember 719-520-6666 or tips at elpasoco.com. Thank you.